today we're having an interview with Andy Preston. Welcome.
Hi.
Hi. And first thing I'd like to ask you is, why do you want to run for mayor?
Okay, I want to run for mayor because I'm 48, right? And I left school when I was 15, coming up 16. So that was 33 years ago. What's happened since then is Middlesbrough's declined almost every year, steady decline. I think that one of the reasons it's declined is that local politics have been weak and local politicians haven't been good enough. I want to play a role in rejuvenating the town. This is true. I don't need a job. I'm not looking for a job. I don't need status. I'm not looking for status. I don't need money. I'm not looking for money. I'm doing it for all the right reasons. I'm doing it because I want to see Middlesbrough improve. And I think that it can. And I'd like to play a role in making that happen.
Thank you. The North East has the highest obesity rate. Why do you think this is, and how do you plan on changing that?
I think that the reasons for obesity are complex, but one of the biggest single correlative factors, so one of the biggest things that's related to obesity, is education. The North East generally, when it comes to education, lags the country, and sadly Middlesbrough tends to lag the North East. What you often find with lots of factors, if you look to see how England or Britain is doing, the North East is the worst, and then if you look at the North East, Middlesbrough is the worst. And again, the reasons for that are complex, but one of the biggest single factors is education. I talk to people all the time. I without going into too much detail, I'll be behind someone I know in the queue in the calf there, right? And I'll be talking to someone, and she'll say, I'm on a diet, and I need to eat healthily. And then she'll order something that I know is completely full of calories, but because it's, say, yogurt based, she thinks that's going to make her lose weight. And there's a real lack of understanding about food and what it is. So I think there are a few things we do. It's education itself, it's exercise, which is really hard to do, and it's peer pressure. Does that answer the question?
Yes.
Okay.
With regards to the Let's Grow Middlesbrough campaign, what is the point you're trying to get across?
I think we need to reconnect people with food, right? To really think about what they're eating, where it comes from, where it's going, what's good food and what's bad food. So with Let's Grow Middlesbrough, I want to do 2 or 3 things. I want to connect people with food, and I want to grow food locally. So I want to give an acre of land, or a bit less. An acre of land is about the size of a football pitch, maybe half an acre. To every area, we get volunteers, we fence it off, and one area, say, grows potatoes, another area grows some veg, another area might grow flowers, and they can exchange them. As you harvest your potatoes, you're swapping them for flowers or swapping them for veg, you're selling excess. So that's a great community activity that will keep people busy. It'll connect the people in the community with food, yeah? And I think what we'll do is we'll try and make every community cook, and the local schools cook with that food once a month. So actually the kids in the school think, well, we grew this just out the back. And that'll be a really nice way to connect them with something wholesome and healthy.
So what inspired you to think of Let's Grow Middlesbrough campaign?
Well, I met with 2 school head teachers, and they told me that some of their kids come to school hungry. Now, they told me that when they come hungry, they can't concentrate and their behaviour is bad. They told me that sometimes that's because the parents might be addicts of one kind or another, so they've just disengaged and lost touch with everything. Sometimes the parents might run out of money for whatever reason. So I thought we need to do something about feeding kids, and then we need to do something about growing healthy food, and let's bring the 2 together. Let's try and put the schools at the centre of that. Related to this, I've got a really exciting project in the summer. I'm working with some church groups, and we hope to pilot a project where we get a school in East Middlesbrough to open the kitchen, and every single weekday in the summer they open the kitchen and they cook food, good food for the kids. Look, give them a square meal, maybe do a lesson, like a soft lesson, something that isn't too hard or boring. We'll make sure the kids on that estate get a proper meal and they give them somewhere to go.
Why do you think it's important to educate young children about healthy eating?
Because of what we said first, I think it's a lack of education and a lack of knowledge. So literally it's an ignorance that causes many people to eat too much of the wrong stuff and get fat. And my view on being fat is if you want to be fat, that's great. I don't think we should like pressure anyone to conform. But I think in truth, most people want to be slim and healthy and feel good and look good. I think most of us do. So I think we need to give everyone that chance, give people the equipment to do that. So whether that's the knowledge, or the peer group pressure, or the education, we need to do that in Middlesbrough.
How do you intend on stamping out poverty and improve the health of people in Middlesbrough?
Okay, stamping out poverty is probably the hardest thing in the world. What we can do is make sure we are not the poorest town in England, or almost the poorest town, which is what we are. And the drivers of that have been complex. And I could point to bad politics, I could point to bad education, lots of reasons. But the truth is, we can sort a lot of it out, right, with education. Education in enterprise, lots of jobs. If we can create more businesses. I know loads of people that do business with companies in Newcastle. And the reason they go there and pay Newcastle companies for the services is because there aren't local companies that do it. So we need to compete with Newcastle and compete with Leeds. Yeah? We need to do business with people in Leeds and get them bringing business here and get their money in. Too much money leaves this area. The first thing we can do about that is teach kids how to start businesses, give them role models and show them how to create jobs. Thank you.
Thank you.